All right, welcome back to the Obsession Podcast. Mike Stadler here.
Carl Bethke here.
We got another question here that one of our subscribers sent in. Is doe movement important, or is it the most important to you?
To me, it's important, but it's not the most important thing on my property. I think it's important, very important during the rut, pre-rut time, to be able to lock down your doe movement and know what your does are doing, because what are you doing? You end up basically hunting doe movement.
Does.
Right. So I think that's the most important time for doe movement. Your doe movement early if you plan on taking does.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I mean, what about...
Which is when we take our doses early.
Right. You know, first weekend I plan on shooting at least one or two off the property.
Yeah, I don't... I guess I don't want to say I don't watch it, but I don't monitor it that closely.
No.
Until mid-October.
Right.
Then I want to see, where are they traveling?
Yeah.
Which you can use your intel for that, all the way up to it, your cameras, your observation. It doesn't change a lot though. No, those should be the most predictable thing on your property. And for me, and I'm pretty sure it's the same here with you, is we have different doe groups on the property. So each group beds in a different area, because they do not, especially coming up here shortly, end of April, beginning of May, when the fawns are starting to drop, the adult does do not tolerate each other at all. That's what I was going to say too. That's where your doe movement is important. If you have too many of them,
right,
and you don't have them segregated at all on your property, that's when you're going to have a problem. It will be important to you then.
Yeah, 100%.
Because they're going to drive each other around, and we both watched them kick mature bucks out of the property.
Oh yeah, just absolutely thump them.
And
Pound them out.
Big bucks won't stand for it. They'll just leave.
Nope.
They don't want it.
The big bucks are like old men. They're like, they know when they got a shot and when they don't, and they're probably even smarter because they're just like, nope, gotta go.
That's always why we get married later usually in life. We don't figure anything out until then.
That's a fact.
But
Yeah,
no, it's true. So yeah, that's when it's more important, I guess. Otherwise, we don't really monitor it a lot until then. Because then, you are hunting does to hunt your buck.
right. And we both set our property up anyway for fall food for the does. Yeah, we want a few does on the property,
Right.
and the bucks are going to cruise in and out of the property. But the most important time for us to have deer on our property, and the way we set our stuff up with our fall food, is the fall during the killing season.
Right.
So there's a lot of people that have issues with too many does.
Yeah.
And they don't monitor their stuff at all.
And they don't shoot them.
And
And that's a problem.
Yeah. If you have 100 does on your property, well, good for you. I've got all the big bucks.
Good luck. I'm buying next to you.
Yeah. Yep. And any of those does that I know you have 100 of that come on my property, I'm killing.
Yep.
So it's you gotta assess your own property, or with your neighbors too, I guess I would say. Knowing what the neighbors do. For you, it's for here. We had talked, you were gonna take out maybe one or two antlerless deer, and then late the neighbor shot.
Late the neighbor had a couple taken out. The only problem is I know the neighbor across the street, I don't think he took many last year. And normally they take 4 to 6.
Yeah.
Which is great, because then I don't have to do it.
Yeah, well, you had all the winter food, so they left over there.
They did, which was a good and a bad thing.
Right.
But yeah, they destroyed my food. They were here all winter.
Right.
So, and like right now, there's probably not a ton of deer on my property, but everything's gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, the doe movement's always important.
It's
It's more important, obviously, when you're hunting those bucks late.
Do you think doe movement designates buck movement?
100% at the right time of year.
Correct. And I think that's what people really need to understand. Is your doe movement is going to designate your buck movement. Now, understand, they're not going to continually walk around down a trail that the does constantly use. They're going to be off one way or the other, basically 9 times out of 10 downwind to where the main doe trails are, the main doe bedding areas. And you should have your stand set accordingly for that.
Those two, in my opinion, I think are a lot more predictable to find than.
100%. They should be the most predictable thing on your property.
They are very repetitive.
Yep.
In their movements, their bedding, their feeding.
And they don't go far.
Yeah, they don't. They bed close.
Yep.
They travel the same, and their fawns are taught the same.
Yep.
And that's why you always see your bucks popping up everywhere.
If you got a really old doe, that would be one to take out if you're gonna take out antlers. I either take out the oldest doe I know I can get a hold of, or a doe fawn. And the only reason I would shoot a doe fawn is if I have way too many mouths on the property.
Right.
If there's too many deer on the property, a mouth is a mouth when it comes to food.
Yeah, it's gonna eat one way or the other.
That's a fact. The other thing about does are a big mature doe is just as smarter than a buck.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. I have one here, and she's been here for I think 100 years, and she will blow at me if I come out of the garage in June, and she can be on the top of that ridge, and I can't see her, and she's blowing. I hate her.
Well, you gotta kill her.
She's gonna die.
She's gonna die.
Yeah, she's gonna die.
We've
And she
got
just blows the bow, I swear.
There's one mission.
Yeah, she's gonna die.
Well, she hates you too.
No,
That's
she
what
hates-
she's telling me.
She hates me with
She's like,
extreme prejudice, I believe.
I hate you.
Yeah. And I don't blame her.
No, well, she
But
walks by at night and sees all of this.
Yeah, I always say the line to hate me is long,
No,
but it starts here.
that's right.
So,
Yeah, that's a good point.
but
I mean, that's why I see doe movement. Does in general are very predictable, and they teach their fawns the same thing.
yeah,
They'll kick them out, well, they're probably kicked out now,
yeah,
and
they'll be back.
they'll be back together. You'll see, like the following year, you'll see her fawn from the year before, doe-wise, will actually be together with the adult doe the following
Yeah.
year. And if you get too much of that going on, then you're gonna start to see all kinds of doe issues.
Right.
So you have to keep those numbers in check. They don't kick them out like they do a nubbin buck gets kicked out, and then at a year and a half, his area is probably about a mile and a half away where he was born. But come fall, he heads back that direction. He may not make it all the way there, but
Yeah, it depends what he finds on his way.
right. So
Yes.
that's kind of how that works.
Yeah, so I mean, really to sum it up, is doe movement important? 100%. It is important at the right time of the year.
Correct.
I guess that's what we can leave it at.
Yep.
So, your middle of October, that's
Yep.
when your doe movement becomes the most important.
Yeah, the other part about does that you really need to know is doe bedding. Correct?
Correct?
Right. So know whether your doe's bed too. That'll help you
Yeah.
kill a big buck too.
Yes.
So that's about it for this week. I think it was pretty simple, don't you? Doe movement, figuring it out.
Probably the only simple one we'll get.
Great.
Well,
So-
for us.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you guys next week. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Check us out at Rush Outdoors WI on YouTube, or you can watch us or listen to us on RSS feed. And then punch in The Obsession, or you can check us out on Spotify. We appreciate all you guys' support over the years.
Keep sending those questions.
We'll see you next week.